Salvete omnes, and welcome to Caesar's Gallic Wars, Book 5, Section 31. When last we left Caesar, the Council of War was debating what to do, and now we are going to have the debate settled. So the question is, should they stay or should they go? And that's the question we're going to answer. So think about what you think the Romans should do, and then we will see what actually happens. So let us begin. Consurgitur ex concilio. They rise from the council. Consurgitur in Latin here is an impersonal passive, so that's why it looks like a third person, but we're translating it as they. Caesar likes to use impersonal passive. So they rose from the council. Comprehendunt utrumque. They comprehendunt each. They grasp each hand or each person, and they orant. Here we're going to start an indirect command, and I pointed that out here, that orant, ne, and deducat are introducing an indirect command. And they beg that through their own dissensione, through their own disagreement and pertinacia and stubbornness, that they not deducat lead the rem, the situation, in summum periculum, into greater danger. So they beg that they not lead, and that's why we have an indirect command, mostly because of that beg there. Beg plus a ne plus a present subjunctive. Okay, and what are they saying? Then they're going to say that. Remember, sometimes they don't have to say, they just assume that you understand it, and then they start an indirect statement. They say that the rem, that the business, the situation, the business is facilem, is easy. Seu, whether they should stay, maneant, or they should proficiscantur, whether they should go. Si modo unum omnes sentiat ac probent. If only, si modo, they feel, if only they all feel and approve this unum, this one thing. Contra, on the other hand, that they perspicere, that they perceived there is nullam salutem, there is no safety in dissensione, in dissension. So again, we're still in this indirect statement here. We have this up here as an indirect statement, and then we have down here that they perceive that there is no safety in dissension. The race, the situation, perducatur, is led in disputatione, in debate, ad mediam noctem, until the middle of the night. Tandem dat cota per motus manus. At last, cota, having been moved, dat manus literally gives hands, which means he yields. At last, cota yields. The sententia, by the way, the reds are our subjects. The sententia of Sabinus, our oranges, our genitives. The opinion of Sabinus superat, wins. Present tense here of superat. So the opinion wins. Pronuntiatur prima luca ituros. It is pronounced that they will go, ituros, which is short for ituros esse, indirect statement. It is pronounced that they will go prima luca, at first light. Consumitur vigilis reliqua pars noctis. The reliqua pars of the night, the remaining part of the night, is consumed in wakefulness. When each miles, each soldier, circumspiceret, looks around at his sua, at his own things, and wonders to himself, that's understood, and we have an indirect question here, what he is able, quid posset, to carry secum with him, and what he is going to be forced, cogeritur, to relinquere, to leave behind from the equipment of the hibernorum, of the winter quarters. So first we have a cum clause here, right? Cum plus an imperfect subjunctive, conspiceret. And then we start an indirect question. How do we know it's an indirect question? Because we're starting off with this quid, right? Indirect questions start with who, what, when, where, how, why. And here we have what, and then we have imperfect subjunctive there. Then we have another what, and then we have another imperfect subjunctive here. Okay, so then we go on to the next. Omnia ex cogitantur, quare nec sine periculo maneantur. All things are devised, ex cogitantur, devised or invented, as to why they could not remain, or they could remain sine periculo, without any danger, and why the periculum, the danger, would be increased because of the languore, by the weariness of the soldiers, and by their vigilies, by their wakefulness. Prima Luca, at first light or at dawn, thus they set out from the castries, from the camp. And they're going to explain a little later how they set out in longissimo agmina in maximisque impedimentis. They set out from the camp in such a way that it was persuaded to them that they were persuaded not. They were persuaded, and that the concilium, that the advice was given not by a hosta, not by an enemy, but by a homine amicissimo ambiorige, but by ambiorix, a most friendly man. Okay, so that's interesting. So ambiorige here, we're going to have an ablative of personal agent. By, remember, by, ob meaning by, plus a person. So that the advice had been given not by an enemy, but by ambiorix, a very friendly man. So they set out in such a way that they set out from the camp in longissimo agmina, in a very long battle line, and with maximis impedimentis, and with the greatest baggage. So think about how they're leaving this camp in one long battle line, and then with lots of things, lots of impediments, lots of baggage. Remember, impediments in the plural for them means baggage. So think about what might happen as they leave their camp in this situation. So we will see you next time for 532, and we will find out what is going to happen to the Romans. Walete.